What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the BBL Round 4 review. Now, as you will notice, it is a bit of a different setup today, and that is because I am on my phone recording. I hope the audio is coming through all right, but I'm away in Ballarat for New Year's, so unfortunately don't have my computer with me, so I did have the option, obviously, just not put a video up and just do a tweet on X, but decided I wanted to get a video out, so downloaded recording software, threw myself into a back bedroom, and hopefully we'll be able to get out a decent quality video at least. So we can see our round score of 749 points. Pretty poor, unfortunately, and it did result in us going down 795 places to 5,873. So not a good start from us, very poor round, and we can jump in to see what went wrong here. First of all, we can see we traded in Sam Harper, who scored a 0 for us. Not entirely his fault. Sam Harper did have the rain affected game in the Stars game, so they only came into what they had to get 67 off 7 overs or something along those lines. So they just came out swinging for the hills, and unfortunately Harper went out for a duck straight away, but look, not entirely his fault there. Hopefully he can bounce back in this double games a week to at least get us a decent score. Bit of obviously a weird one that I traded in Harper, but it just seemed right with the Stars double coming up and not really having an ideal wicket keeper. I did have DeCock there, and it was definitely an option to keep DeCock, but decided to play for Harper. We also had Bill Webster's 0. Once again, not really his fault. He only got the bowler 1 over, where he got absolutely ruined, and then it came in for the very end of the batting, I believe, when Maxwell was basically doing all the work and didn't really get a chance to score. We also had Short, who only got 10 points, so a little bit disappointing there that we held on to him for 10. And then we brought in Paul Walter, who came along with 5 as well. Maybe playing towards the cash gen of Paul Walter was the wrong play. If you did watch my video last week, you know that I was looking at keeping DeCock, keeping Fraser McGurk, bringing in Cameron Bancroft, but that would be at the expense of trading out Sean Abbott. Unfortunately, because I decided to do the trades this way, it meant that I didn't have the cash to get the players I wanted if I kept McGurk. So I did move McGurk down to Nick Madison and kept Nick Madison. Unfortunately, Nick Madison, because of his form, didn't play, and McGurk came out with a 115. So look, that's why I did want to keep on to McGurk, that high versatility, that when he goes big, he goes big. I'm not going to be trading him in this week, though. He does have a 13 break even, and we have seen previously that he swings for the fences, so when he doesn't go big, he goes out real quick. So unfortunately, I'm not going to make that play for him this week, and for those that held on, congratulations. I wish I could have done that. Maybe if just Nick Madison didn't lose so much cash over this opening season. Definitely someone I want to be moving on, but it does get a bit hard. We also had Overton already in our team, which was very nice. A lot of people traded him in. And I think that's where the problem is. We had Sam's great VC score, we had Maxwell's great score, and Overton's great score, but these were all very highly owned players. Our pod plays on the other side of things, as I mentioned, Walter, Harper, Short, they all underperformed, which cost us quite significantly. And then Abbott, who really should have been able to get to 57, unfortunately a dropped catch in his last over. So his last over was the last of their bowling over. He was the death bowler at the end, and it was the very first ball that was dropped. And look, obviously that's an extra 20 points for Abbott, but what makes it worse is when that player proceeds to go on and then Abbott doesn't get a single wicket at the end of his overs. You know, if he gets that wicket there, new batter in the crease, maybe he potentially picks up a second one too. So unfortunately, Abbott had a bit of a score left there. You know, it's not a bad score, 37 at the end of the day off a single, but it's just annoying when you see your bowler come in. I think that's something that's the most frustrating thing in BBL. Having your bowler, you know, do a good ball, or even if they don't do a good ball, then the batter just has a bad swing, and then it's just a very easy catch that somehow gets dropped. Nothing more frustrating than seeing that, unfortunately. So we will be looking at our trades this week. What I'm taking into effect is the break-evens again. Look, as much as I'm not playing for the break-even game, if people have topped out in their cash, then it is good to be moving them on. Walter, we're not going to move him at this stage, but I think I will look at using him as a loophole, just because at the end of the day, if he doesn't get in for all 4 overs, then he's not really going to be able to put out the numbers we want. But if he does, he could definitely score quite handsomely, because it's one of those things that if his first 2 overs go well, he'll get in for 3 and 4. If they don't go well, he won't, and he'll put out no score. So we'll be using him as a loop, more or less. Swepson's really topped out in cash, so I think he needs to be going. Saying that I did hold him for his bye, and I could hold him for the Brisbane bye double game later on, is something to keep into consideration. But I do think we should be using the cash once they have topped out. And look, with next week's games coming into effect, we obviously have the double on Melbourne Stars this week with the Perth bye, but next week we have Stars and Thunder having a bye. So I need to make sure I don't overload with those players and get caught really awkwardly holding too many of them. So what I was thinking, Sanger looks like he has topped out in price as well. Break even of 67, it's very high. So I want to be moving on Sanger. The next one I will be moving on. Look, sometimes on the phone it's always a bit janky, so I'm just going to quickly cancel that. I think I will move on Swepson first of all. So we'll move on Swepson. This should allow me to, be able to also trade Sanger, because the app doesn't go all the way to the bottom, which is a little annoying. And then look, I really want to get rid of Nick Madison, which it is a bit hard because if I do choose to move on Nick Madison, it doesn't leave me with much money. Saying that, it's only Stars on the double, and let's be honest, the Stars players, we don't really want them. Outside of Maxwell, there's not really standouts. Cartwright had a decent game. I say decent, actually. He put out 12. He had a decent week the week before. With Mia and Ralph out of the team now, it makes things very awkward as well. So who is going to come in and replace them? I'm really hoping Steckity gets into the lineup, so that's why we hold Steckity, so that he can get into this double game and score us some good points. Paris had quite a good game too, which was very nice. And he has a good break even, and he's nice and cheap. I think the biggest thing with Paris too is because I'm moving out Madison, is I do have to bring in someone cheap. So if I bring in Paris, it leaves 250k to play with, which is very, very nice. Now, someone I am considering is Tom Rogers, who I believe has a good break even as well, 32. 2 cracks at it, could be quite nice. We also have Dan Lawson, the import, who has come in. But look, imports usually come in and their first game isn't usually the greatest, so not something I think I will jump on. Something I want to, but I don't think I can. I can only really afford one more Stars player at this current time, so it is Rogers or Lawson, but I think I have to go for Rogers because of the third player I want to go for. Now we're going to jump off the Stars filter, and the third player had a big game. Oh, here they are. Jack Edwards. Look, with Curran out of the team, he really has been stepping up, which is very nice. I think Curran's still going to be gone for, 2 more games at least. And Edward has a great break even. As much as we're not playing towards the break even anymore, Edwards has a good role. He's bowling 4. He's bowling well. He's bats at a decent enough position, and he bats decently. So I think he's a good cash cow. Because as much as I say that, we're pretty deep into the season, there's 5 rounds left. I think from next week onwards, I need to stop worrying about cash. But I think Edwards is just a really good cash option this week. Negative 39 break even. Should make some good money. He's going to keep playing every game. And when Curran comes back, with the cash he's making, he could be a sideways to Curran if we want. Saying that, Sixers don't have any more doubles, so maybe it won't be a sideways to Curran. But I think he should make some good money, and then he'll be an easy sideways later on, once Curran's back, of course. So the way I am going to set this up is I am going to move. How did I want to do this? I believe Connolly will move with Sutherland's. Walter will end up on the bench. We will put the emergency on Walter to see how he goes. He does play game 3 though, so it allows me to still move Connolly and Sutherland's around if I need. I want Paris and Steckity on a field, so I think that's the only awkward thing here. Let's see. So I think this might seem a little bit mad to everyone, but what I'm thinking is we put short as an emergency. And look, that might be an awful play in hindsight. I guess the other thing with bringing in Edwards is we're not really using him on field. He's really there for the cash, so hopefully he can go off. But Adelaide do play game 1 here. So if Short goes off, we can just flip around Connolly and Sutherland and take his score if need be. Or I could always make a swap elsewhere. Saying this, the team is subject to change because if Steketee doesn't get named, he will have to be traded at the end of the day. I'll probably keep Sanger if that's the case, move Steketee out, and then Matt Short probably comes onto the field if that's the case. And that's how the team would line up. So that's how we're looking. Obviously, we're coming into the doubles. I think as much as Webster had a really good game previously, look, Maxwell's Mr. Consistent here at the end of the day. He is consistent. He's going to come in and bowl. Usually is 2. If you're lucky, like the other game, he comes in and bowls 4, and then he bats really nicely. So I want to take I'll take probably the low risk option on Maxwell, but I think the team looks quite nice. So, yep. Anyway, that's going to be it for us, guys. As you can see, my little recording device on the side here means that I'm wrapping this up. So thank you, y'all, for listening. I appreciate y'all for being here. And I will see you next time.